Alright, hello everybody, this is Demon coming back for another round of Final Fantasy XIV's Endwalker. So, this will be the intro that I'm using for it for a while, guys, just because I'm probably going to be playing this straight and probably won't have time to do intros and outros. So, I hope everybody here enjoys, and thank you for watching this, and let's go ahead and start it right up. Alright, welcome back everybody. I've just about destroyed my lungs, trying to cough like crazy, so let's go ahead and talk. God, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? Brought samples from Charlie and Hamlet. Series 110. Crates are by the entrance. Thank you. I'd expected one of my colleagues, but you were dreadfully short-handed. Just remember, you're the Fortunauts children, are you not? Oh god, that's going to be an issue for a little bit. Alphino and Alizé at your service. You're well acquainted with father, I take it? Quite, I've been friends with your parents since the days at Studium. I remember when you were yay high, wandering hither and thither. Claire, it's been quite some time since we met. It's good to see you again, wielding your father's nautilus, no less. You knew our parents when they were young? What were they like? Pray spare no detail. I should like nothing more than regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in a charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. Oh, we can help you with that. Exchange for some swords of our parents would never willingly divulge of us. Of course. Well, very well then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in your delivery, so how about each one of you take one? God, I feel better. Wait right there. I do apologize about the constant clearing of the throat. I got the worst of it gone, but it's still bad. You will find a form represent waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind, Alphino and Alizé, I'm certain they'll be back soon enough. Oh, without a doubt, I bet they will be. Oh, God. Man, that cough is bad, dude. Again, some people are saying, Demon, why you cough so much? I always do this after I eat. I don't know what causes it. I just get like a lot of mucus buildup. It kills me. Are you not one of the Silent Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the ether burner. Oh, we're already way ahead of you on that. To follow his paperwork has been aware he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in these documents to find at the last. As for your other tasks, pray keep this between us, but I certainly hope you silence succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and so we must circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlene has ever been a nation of the curious. 'Twould be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymiate your pursuit of truth. I just hope I don't get to a point where I actually can't keep playing. That'll disappoint me to all hells and back. Because I just want to keep playing. If I get to a stage where I can't play, I'm going to lose my mind. Quick and efficient, I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' paperwork only need to be delivered elsewhere to the facility, so they should be returning any moment. Okay, I feel a bit better now. Ah. We return with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes, and... That is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear. To reiterate. Oh, continue, please. That stuff's hilarious. Of course. I've known your father for so long. I must have something. Ah, well, as you know, part of the Louvier named garners such respect and Charlene is your family's storied history. You two can trace your answer directly to those who came aboard Neum Crump's Hope, a lineage few can claim. Never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation, they were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. 'Tis why Neum Crump's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war, and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, Archon Louis War looked not to name Crump's words, but his deeds. He asserted in defiance of his fears that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising time was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations led him to conclude that to hue of conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. God, I hate this feeling. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those one might simply save it is not wisdom, it is indolence. Remember his words well, indeed. Archon Louisois lived by that personal creed, and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlian or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortunato could not reconcile Louisois' deed with the philosophy of that forebears and his peers, a philosophy which he believed so fervently, he had made a pariah of his father. Fortunato agonized over his contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. It is not always thus. Gods know Fortunato's cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you aren't constantly in his thoughts. Or you must know that you are constantly every moment of every day, and that is not exaggeration in the slightest. One moment. Okay, I'm better, I coughed. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was, with a kind of dumbfounded grin I had not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. Oof. He is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he's decided that a given action is for the best, he'll stay the course no matter what or who opposes him. Apparently an annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When we next meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me in too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to get back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. I think there's going to be a lot of moments where I'm just going to sit there and mute myself because I'm just going to keep coughing. Hail, you three. Surely Cacol hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or worse, no. However, he sent me a task that requires more than my single pair of hands, and here you are. I could use you at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Fortunately, Alzai and I have prior commitments, and we've delayed too long as it is. How about you, Hydaelyn? Can you spare the time? Yeah. Perfect. It shouldn't take long. Let's get her going. Get her going. As I like to press Theopolitan for more revealing tidbits, we should get getting back to our tasks. Strange to hear father spoken of in such a way, but I suppose he would find your view of me no less odd. Event that hour, and I quote, promised heap of Adamantite, falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap. Master Cacol wishes to be ready on the proverbial hammer to anvil at any moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames and Cacol's forge to burn harder. So meaning increased amount of ether being funneled to his furnaces. The flow of fire is expected ether in labyrinths is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. Just will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. That's the word part then. We'll see you in the Charlian Hamlet once the Adamantite arrives, if not before. This way then. Oh. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. It's just like imagine like when you're talking and then like you just have like this feeling like something like you're gonna take a breath and that crap's gonna go down your freaking windpipe. That's the last thing I want to feel. So another 500,000. 500,000. That's 400,000. I still have a fair bit to go. As long as there's enough missions. So let's go up here, talk to Graha, and see what we can do. Your reactor is housed within this facility. I'll go to the one on the inside and justify their output. When I do, rather large amounts of water expected will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this to attract at least a few elementals. Should we bother not to be drawn into the reactor itself? Trust me. Can I ask you to put them down for any draw too near? They'll pose you little trouble, I'm sure. Wait here if you would. Man, it feels good getting so many attacks off, dude. I'm not lying anymore. This is amazing. I'm gonna hold Apex there just in case there's another round of the threefer. Yep, called it. Screw it. Oh, yeah, I gotta win. Winner. Aha. That stuff was fun. Did everything go smoothly out here? Yeah. I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. And the water ether appears to be venting properly. I expect Kakol will have seen a difference in his forge lines by the time I return. Since I have you, was there another matter I thought to discuss with you? Nothing terribly important, merely something I've been considering. Part of this I shared with everyone, yet you and only you have been to Alpus. Okay. As we established, refined Adamantite is a product of Alec, one of the Empire's twilight years, in fact. It was material which saw much use as part of Allegan's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world, Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Now, those who would push further, expand Alex's empire and cups to heavens and stars above. Perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist, Amon. Amon wanted to travel the Sea of Stars. Did he remember his life as Hermes? He did. He must have had his own reasons, however, for there's no evidence suggesting he retained memories of his life as an ancient. He only joined the Ascians once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. Not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor. This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality, so to speak, a natural disposition towards which they are inclined? We know with relative certainty that it was the gross descendants and inexorable decline of Alec that moved him on to resurrect Emperor Zonde. The Empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness in their hearts. Facilitating Zonde's return, Amon provided these languid souls with means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or who would have, had not Zonde been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end, to instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived, could not bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning, and both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. Such is my theory, anyway. Ultimately, it is the consequence of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet, to reach those stars on the wings of Adamantite, to travel to the ends of creation beyond, the promise of hope everlasting, that much I do understand. But enough musings for now. Why don't we see how Kakol is getting on? Alrighty. Well, he's up that way, so can you just hook... Oh, you can just hook around through the south. Cool. Well, I can't get to the centerpiece yet. I'm assuming that comes later. Yeah, you might be able to get in there later. We'll have to see. I just don't feel like going towards it just yet. Outer edges do the any bit later. Yeah, because I'm assuming this is something we got to go into later. Overall, this is, See, I like this a little bit more than I like the Loporrit stuff. Like, the Loporrit stuff's okay, but, like, this is more to my liking. I like to, see the friends that we've made along with. Loporrits are okay, it's just... I'm not as interested in trying to help them, because some of their stuff's just, to me, it just feels like... none of it matters. That's what it feels like to me. Like, some of it does. Like, we got the Mubrita or parent stuff, we got that. But it's like, you could have gave me that without the Loporrits. Alright, one thing I am going to do while I'm already here is I'm going to grab this. It's either do it now or I do it later, and if I'm already here, I might as well do it now. Then, if you're somebody playing this and you want to know what the ether coins are, that's what they are. Alright, let's sit there and see if they got anything, if anything, to add to the situation now. I did thoroughly brief call on refined Adamantite history. I only volunteered to go in the reactor because I was finished and there was little else to do. Hopefully that dispels any misapprehensions that I was kicked out for prattling on. Woo, I can feel those flames are blazing from here. Glad you found somebody capable, Grob, but there's not much left for you lot to do, unless you can conjure up that refined Adamantite any faster. I don't know, Grob. It feels like you got kicked out. I do trust you to deliver on your promise, I do. Only, I ain't waiting. I want that Adamantite, and I want it now. Well, sharing your patience, I assure you, there's nothing else we can assist with in the meantime. I wish the sitting about's unbearable. Pity the forum's frowns on recreational explosions. Well, so long as they can't prove it, it was premeditated, get you gone, I've mistakes to make. In that case, I suppose I should go and return the key to the reactor, or have one more look to make sure nothing's gone wrong, unintentionally or otherwise. Sounds like there are better uses of your time, however. I will join you in Garlean Empire and all. Smoke rises from the building behind me. It will entirely be unrelated to what I did say. Got it? Wait, what? Hey. I like that guy. That guy's fun. He likes to cause explosions. How far is that? That's a considerable distance. I don't feel like dealing with this. I'm just gonna go over. I do not feel like running that whole way there on this horse. I just feel like doing this. It's quicker. Pog, my character didn't get soaked through for once. If you wait here, your plans are bound to turn up sooner or later. Your commandants? Yep. Hey, look, he's got that little gobble thingy. Look at him, he's running around like a champion.
All set, I take it?
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
Oh, I feel better.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah, had a feeling we might find you all here.
Our consultations with the Loperites, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have for the most part been allayed, though some insist on making adjustments to the very end. For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company. Lest
All that remains is to wait for the refined Adamantite.
Alphino, are you there? It's me, Cryle. Your special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Forgive the intrusion, Master Fortuner. I bring urgent news. A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested, with all speed.
Now, where might this delivery be?
I can't imagine where it is.
Oh.
They brought a whole thing, didn't they? Pog.
I'm sure it's very important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
I don't think he cares,
Like
lady.
12. Surely. These can't all be.
Oh, our boys. Those ones are from the mark missions from the raid missions.
Bleeding hellfire. They're bringing them by sea and by air. All these folks in these crates.
And more on the way. Got your Adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. An hypocrite to boot. Ain't no way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Dalamon shard.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance. Furthermore, 'twas my contacts that enabled us to enlist the cooperation of the Sky Pirates.
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due, you did a right fine job sitting on your ass.
Take that back.
Make me.
I will not stoop to your level.
My, what a grand welcome party.
Hancock and Saraban.
We come bearing relics both sacred and elegant, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help, to be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of Rayson Temple. 'Twas passing fortunate that Senri's dango craving brought us to Kugane. We arrived precisely as Hancock was making his arrangements. Upon learning of your need, we made haste back to Hell's Lid, with our dango, never fear, and consulted with the other auspices. All consented to the lending of Tenzin's legendary Phoenix Blade for this noble cause.
Cool.
Suzaku and Seiryu were nevertheless worried that it might be lost in transit, however, and insisted upon accompanying me to Onakoru, where I had intended to entrust it to our Confederate allies. I thought instead to give it over to Hancock when we chanced to cross paths yet again. But alas, Seiryu remained ill at ease and ordered me see the blade into your hands personally or die trying.
We did, of course, need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in time. Fortunately, our majestic associates have been more than helpful. 'Tis an honor to join the Warrior of Light on another adventure, they tell me.
That is all wonderful to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Lolorito looks ever towards the profits of the future, and thus the East Aldenar Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability. And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation. Everything is already yours.
We funded the venture? When?
It's Tataru, for God's sakes.
Don't let the name fool you. This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending. When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount. We also had the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement. She has supported us from the shadows since the very founding of the Scions. We even had coffers to fill.
Mother!
Amelians.
I remain, of course, an entirely neutral party. I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full.
Damn.
We can hardly take them with us on your teeny-tiny toy boat, now can we? And would be a shame to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent. Waste not.
Oh, that's a husband learning on his wife had the credit card. I'm such an ass.
However did you manage so much in so short a time, though? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our...
Ugh, stuff's hilarious.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Erenville, you were involved too.
I received a letter from Cryle after we parted ways in Labyrinthus. She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlotte. I accept that the Forum's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we have, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know. That is why I chose to help the Scions, to combat the obliteration of those countless undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed. To make a long story short, the whole of the guild ship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
Pog.
What's this about a ship that can fly to the moon?
Oh god, Sid's here. He's about to make it go off.
And why didn't you mention it sooner? The one time you don't beg my aid, your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon.
Sid, you brought the team.
Where'd you find Nero?
Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new favorite ship. Oh, I nearly forgot. We stopped by Whirlid before coming here and picked up a package from Gaius. He's still of the mind that actions make for better penance than words, contrite or otherwise, so we offer none of the latter. What he sent is an Allegan relic Valens used in his weapons experiments. Has a fair bit of refined adamantite in it too.
As you like us not suspect, we've also brought adamantite for Mordona's Dalamud shard. I admit to some consternation upon first receiving Kryle's message. So few Scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition. However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshire's treasure hunters, not least among them. I know. How the Gobbyfrock fought. Slowfix's gratitude for the safe return of his daughter has not waned, and he gathered his kin to our side with an astounding quickness. The clash between their machina and the Allegan defences was a sight to behold. I wager even you would have been impressed by the magnitude of the Gobby booms.
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here. Does Razatan not have more pressing concerns?
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution. That, and I am indebted to you. Though they chose to take their leave of Thavnair, those you saved in Garlemund remain my people. my gratitude is beyond words. 'Tis appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better. You will recall that I spoke of my father, Midgard Summer, and his journey across the great expanse. As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent. Hydaelyn's answer was silence, as ever. Tiamat and Hrisvelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion. My sire, too, stirred from his slumber long enough to speak and say, "Very well." Thus have I brought you his own worm scales. Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all.
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself along.
Fuck me, this is so unbelievable. I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no, 10, no, 14 bleeding percent. Think of how far we could go. What we could do with that much power. What we could blow up.
Oh God.
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the Scion's end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it. The lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
We have seen and we have felt how much each life shapes this world. And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Then I will bear it with you. I beg you, share your struggles with me, as family. You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born. I thought my heart might burst. It was love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelming. And a conviction so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures. The great exodus would succeed, must succeed. No sacrifice or sin was worse than the alternative. If any
thing gave me pause, 'twas mine own father. The Archon Louisois openly decried Charlian's policies, a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool, perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children. A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart. No, that was his doing, when he perished at Cartano, as we pulled that twisted slab of Dalamud from the sea. I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you. No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail, I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger and so much wiser than I dared dream. You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love, and none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures.
Oh, she came in with a bitch slap.
Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to?
Millions. Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well. I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular. I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
If we've finished loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You've no small number of friends and admirers here after all.
Lend us your strength. I remember to try and close him with me. Lend us your strength. Let's do it.
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.
She's talking to this group. It ain't orderly. Do I get to talk to everybody? I want to talk to Alpha first. Where's Alpha? I don't see Alpha. Where the hell's Alpha? Oh. Well, let's talk to everybody and then I'll end the episode. Oh, my throat hurts from directing so many people to Labyrinthos, but that only proves we got our money's worth. Apologies for not informing you earlier of Ermville's involvement. He was something of a contingency plan. Thank goodness we had him and his fellow gleaners to hand, though. It would have been monstrously difficult to locate Sid and transport the Harnish delegation here otherwise. No idea how massive a weight it was until he lifted it off my shoulders. More importantly, his words are more information. The path we walk is the right one. Part of me might have been satisfied so long as my family and friends survived the final days, but save the star is what we all want most. And if those same people believe that I can help see it done, who am I to say otherwise? Come what may, I will fight for this world of ours until the very end. If you ever see another crate again, it will be too soon. Can't wait to see what our friends from the Ironworks do with the ship. Oh my god, when Sid touches that, it's going to get real. Unaided, we Scions could never have gathered such a bounty. Refined, adamantite, relics sacred and ancient alike. I found myself quite overcome. Lee sent a letter along with Gardania's contribution. It seems she traveled there to aid in their adamantite recovery. Evidently, journey to Grani was quite the trial. This was getting into the Dalamid Shard. It was reaching its depths. Especially we'll have a few kind words to say about the Alligans when we next meet. Time has come to claim our prize. Are you prepared? Alright everybody, but unfortunately with that we do have to end the episode. We have done pretty damn well in the course of this game. What the hell? I am looking at that. Yeah, there we go. It's perfect. My character takes up that spot. So, with that everybody, we do have to unfortunately end the episode. We went well over on time, but I enjoyed every moment of this. Seeing everybody get together. You guys were seeing different people from the different groups and stuff. That is all from the New Game Plus stuff. That is all of this. So me ending up doing this was great. So binding coils, we understood the shards. Alexander, you helped the goblins in Ildashire, so we did that. Omega, we sat there and sang. We had Alpha. That's something I could redo and then show you guys at a later day. That way you guys can understand where Alpha comes from. He was the little chocobo, and then his buddy was the little Omega that was with him. Eden, it came in handy during the first. Crystal Tower, we didn't see anybody from that, but Shadow of Mahawk, the one group that was flying above it, that was the pirates. Return to Evalis, this is that big ship that was up in the sky. These are our friends from the Prima Vista. Great thing. As I said, I'm glad I did that. The near stuff, I made the 99. I was almost 100% guaranteeing that was not going to be involved. Surprisingly enough, Warring Triad didn't come involved. I'm actually still thinking that the one person that's in that is going to come. The Four Lords was actually a shocker that this got involved. Nonetheless, really cool that was there. And then Sora We're Lit. We got to see Gaius, and Sid talked about it. So again, I can redo those at a later date. Probably do recordings of them. I just never chose to really worry about it as of now. But maybe later I can show it to you guys as extra content for the game, and I can just start cutting and making it new stuff. Other than that, say hello to Past Demon as he gives you guys the outro as always. And then I talk to Alphino here next episode to continue on with the story. So, see you then. Alright everybody, this is Demon telling you goodbye. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode of Endwalker. Again, I probably won't get too lucky and have too many openings because there's going to be so many people playing Endwalker. So I'm doing a custom little outro for it this time around. So as I always sit there and say, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys then. Thanks.